In 2025, Brawl Stars experienced one of the biggest declines ever seen in history. Well, it went from being one of the most popular games that everyone was talking about with a pretty big community to being somewhat forgotten. But why did this happen? What happened that made Brawl Stars a complete disappointment in 2025? Well, come with me because today we're gonna look at everything that happened in Brawl Stars in 2025, and I'll tell you why this year was one of the most disappointing years for the game. So, let's start with the beginning of the year, January 2025. This month was one of the most interesting months in all of Brawl Stars, because in January, the outlook for the whole game looked pretty good. At this time, the collaboration event with Toy Story took place, which introduced Buzz Lightyear as a limited-time brawler. A brawler that everyone remembers more for how overpowered he was than for anything else. In addition, the collaboration brought quite a few skins with the Toy Story theme, and of course, it also came with its own limited-time event. The pizza event where there was no shortage of controversy. This was thanks to bugs that allowed you to have too many pizzas and spend them all in the shop. This made much of the event meaningless and allowed many people to buy all the skins related to this event, which many people disliked, and the controversy continued since all Supercell did was give a few gifts as compensation, and that was it. That was all. This month, Mapool was also added, a brawler who was also somewhat controversial, since this brawler was released with a lot of bugs. But continuing with the update for this 2-month period, next we have February 2025, which was, honestly, a month with very little content. The brawler that was released this month was Ollie, who at first was a brawler that many people didn't like, since he was pretty weak. This season's Battle Pass featured the good randoms and included a Valentine's Day event pairing Bo with Charlie. Notice that February 2025 was one of the months with the least content, since yes, I'm mentioning the Battle Pass and a Valentine's Day event. This month only had a few important things, nothing else was significant. Our next Brawl tag takes us to March 2025, where too many things happened. To begin with, we have the release of Finks as a brawler who was also pretty weak at first. During this month, we had one of the most important reworks of the year, the second rework of competitive mode in Brawl Stars. Now it works based on seasons with the addition of the Pro Pass, a pass that gives you plenty of rewards for playing the competitive mode. In addition to the exclusive skins added to the Pro Pass, skins that most of the audience probably ended up liking. Of course, in this competitive mode, you were also given the opportunity to play with 3 maxed out brawlers per season. And in March 2025, something pretty good was added, the Win Streaks feature. Yes, thanks to this, you can get a lot of really good rewards, and many players might already have a pretty big streak. Continuing with the update's 2-month stretch, we have April 2025. This month was marked by the release of Lumi as a brawler, one of the community's favorite brawlers, possibly a top favorite for 2025. Well, this brawler was insanely overpowered, and of course shipping him with Draco was something a lot of people liked. We also had a small collaboration with Uno, in which they released a challenge, game modes, and a skin for Chester. Also, in April 2025, the first community event of the year took place, the Play to Win event, one of those events where the community had to get a lot of kills to earn rewards. A lot of people had fun coming up with ways to get tons of kills. But anyway, nothing could have prepared us for what was coming in the next update. We move on to May 2025, when one of the biggest controversies in the history of Brawl Stars would break out. This month, something unusual happened. The release order of the brawlers from Brawl Talk was reversed. Jade Jong was released instead of Case, along with the Katanas event. A pretty interesting event that brought the 3.0 mutations or sushi powers, plus a new star drop and boss fights. Quite interesting things. Yes, a large part of the community in May 2025 started to get sick of these kinds of events. Obviously, there were some really overpowered abilities, things were completely unbalanced. And we already know that bugs were everywhere in this event, but this event sparked a huge controversy, and that's because in the 2025 roadmap, Frank noted a collaboration was planned for this month. And where was the collaboration? The collaboration was nowhere to be found. Time passed and a lot of people started complaining. Where was the collaboration? But the surprise was so big that the Brawl Stars team had to come out and say that the collaboration actually had to be canceled due to problems. Yes, a large part of the community fell for this huge bait, and they were pretty disappointed. June 2025 was also a month full of controversies. To begin with, we have the release of KS, the first super legendary brawler who brought with him a new gameplay style. And for the few who were able to unlock her, or who spent 1,000 gems on this brawler, well, obviously they had one of the most broken brawlers in the whole game. We also had the Moro Arena. As for the arena, well, this game mode was just another huge bait, and definitely this month was also one of those with the least content. The game became somewhat irrelevant. Anyway, this month marked the beginning of the decline of Brawl Stars, since on June 3rd they released the event to unlock masteries at 1000%. Along with this event, they announced masteries would be removed in the next update. Afterward, much of the community became very upset with the development team, and we were waiting to see what would happen in the next update. July of 2025 had quite a few interesting changes in Brawl Stars, like the new Trophy Road, a reward that gave us a broader perspective of what Star Park was like, and how the brawlers would be affected in this world. But the main change was the change to records. The mechanic that would replace masteries was records, but definitely these were a big mistake. The records were completely hated by the community, seriously, and the records had a lot more disadvantages compared to masteries. Since some records gave you star drops instead of fixed rewards, some of the records were simply impossible to achieve. And if we ask ourselves what was different between records and masteries, well, the only new thing they gave you was this background for the battle cards. Yes, this has been the only thing that records have given you since they came out. Up to this day, records in Brawl Stars definitely marked a turning point. And that wasn't the only bad thing that happened in July 2025, because this month was when the Angels vs Demons event took place, like any good Brawl Stars event. This was completely overshadowed thanks to the bugs that happened all the time. We also had a community event for Mortis, an event that went by without much fanfare, and Allie was also released, our favorite lesbian, who was also pretty broken thanks to her powers, and a big part of the community got tired of the overpowered brawlers too. And notice that we were just starting the 2-month update cycle, because honestly, for August 2025, we didn't get much content. And Brawl Stars slipped even further into obscurity. During this month, we only had the missions event where the community had to complete a lot of missions. Well, that's how they were gonna give out random rewards by rolling a die. And Tronk was also released, which had to be delayed several times. But aside from this little bit of content we got this month, in August 2025, a pretty important event happened for the community. The Subway Surfers collaboration was leaked. The event, the skins, the new game mode, the boxes, the power-ups, everything was leaked. The new brawlers were also leaked. In fact, something weird happened. Mina was actually leaked by Supercell themselves in Tronk's animation. I mean, this is really messed up. I don't know if Supercell did it on purpose to leak stuff or what. This leak caused a lot of discontent in the community because many people were already tired of the events with those annoying power-ups. And this looked like it was going to be just another event with those annoying power-ups, and a lot of things that the community was already sick of, so Brawl Stars really took a hit here. We move on to September 2025, and as we all know, the Subway Surfers event happened just like the leak said. Mina was also released, and this brawler came out super overpowered. It was impossible to play against her. But she was released in a new way, with a different kind of early access. With boxes that looked like they were taken straight out of those cursed box simulators you find on the Play Store. But Brawl Stars stopped being interesting to a lot of people, since the hype from the collaboration didn't catch on at all. In October 2025, Shiggy was released, and Brawl Stars redeemed itself a bit with the Halloween event, where you had to collect candies and exchange them for boxes that had plenty of rewards. The Halloween event was actually quite enjoyable for the community. In fact, a lot of people were planning strategies to defeat the bosses. And the fact that there weren't any bugs or any power that was super overpowered made a lot of people interested in Brawl Stars, raising hopes for the next update. By November 2025, we had the collaboration with Stranger Things. This collaboration was also pretty good, and controversial. To begin with, many people said the skins were kind of bad. Seriously. Even though they were completely based on Stranger Things, a large part of the community wasn't a fan of Stranger Things. Also, individual powers for brawlers were back, but now in a roguelike game mode. And these powers couldn't be used in other game modes, so if you didn't want to play with the powers, that was fine. Obviously, this collaboration also had its bugs, especially the bug where you could tell if you were guaranteed to get a skin from the packs. And believe me, despite all the bad things I've told you about this event, it was actually enjoyable to a certain extent. GG Brawler was also released, a pretty forgettable brawler. In addition to the announcement of several important changes for the following month. Well, in December 2025, that's when we would start with a lot of interesting things. To begin with, we have the buffs, a new gameplay mechanic that gives an advantage to gadgets, star powers, and hypercharges of some brawlers, and these are really overpowered. They can only be obtained randomly with a gadget costing 2,000 power points and 1,000 gold. This sparked controversy due to the high cost and randomness. We also saw the chaos of star drops, which now increase in quality. And they can be split to give a lot of rewards. And to finish the year 2025, we had the release of Pierce, which had a pretty strange mini event, where we had to figure out who was the guy that fell into the pool. Seriously, I'm not making this up. We had to guess which guy fell into the pool. Wow, pretty weird, but well, after all, Brawl Stars had quite a few ups and downs during the year 2025. What do you think about Brawl Stars in 2025? Let me know in the comments. If you really like the video, well, I'll leave you with the most recent video from my channel. I also explain how I got 400 skins on my Brawl Stars account. See you next time. Bye.